Hello, and welcome to our four-part series covering all four pillars in Body Transformation Blueprint. Today, we are live talking about mindset, and this is the fourth pillar of my program, and it's one of the most important parts of a body transformation because whenever you're embarking on a weight loss and fat loss and toning journey, you want to feel healthier, hotter, and stronger as you age. It's not just about the physical transformation. And this is oftentimes where a lot of people go wrong because they think that if they just change their body physically, everything's going to magically work out. But at the end of the day, our mindset tells us so much about ourselves and how we're transforming in the process. And it can also determine if you keep your results long term, because changing your body is one thing, but also maintaining it takes another level of work and mindset here to be able to do that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And if we have not met, my name is Perry. I'm a weight loss and body transformation coach and trainer with over 10 years experience in this industry. I've been coaching for 7, and I have lost 40 pounds naturally using the same strategies and principles that I teach to my clients. Today, we are talking all about mindset as we lead into my live masterclass event next Tuesday on August 11th at 5 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you like what you're hearing today, I definitely invite you to tune in. It will be a live private event next Tuesday. So you do have to RSVP to register and secure your spot. And you can do so by commenting RSVP, or you can find the link in bio to sign up for that event. So let's get into it. We're going to talk all about mindset today and why it plays such a big factor in someone's transformation, whether they transform or not, and then also whether they're able to maintain their results or not. And this comes after me helping hundreds of clients lose weight, shed fat, and tone. So I've seen a lot of the same behaviors and patterns that are keeping people stuck. So I have some notes here. If you see me looking over here, that's what I'm referring to. The first thing we're going to talk about is the behavior patterns that are keeping you stuck. And one of the biggest things that I see, and in fact, we were just talking about it on a coaching call just now, is the all or nothing mindset. Like one missed workout means everything's being thrown out the window. Or if you have one off meal, you're not even sure how to proceed because everything just seems like a wash. But in reality, that's probably one of the reasons that's keeping you stuck, especially if you're someone who has a busy schedule, you work all the time, you are out and about, you travel, because then it can feel like, well, I already slipped up here, I might as well just throw in the whole towel. But throwing in the whole towel is probably what is keeping you stuck. So that all or nothing mindset is not serving you when it comes to body transformation. And you can think of this too as like investing money. And if you had a goal of investing $1 every single day, hello from Ireland, if you had a goal of investing $1 every single day and you weren't able to invest $1, so you just said, oh, screw it, I'm not going to invest. But instead, maybe you put in 80 cents or you put in 70 cents or whatever it was, that's going to compound over time way more than you just saying, oh, well, I couldn't do $1, right? So the all or nothing mindset is something that holds so many people back. And it's also something that I workshop through with so many clients because this is really common. And if you want to transform your body, we got to get that behavior pattern out of here. The second one is perfectionism. And that means when the bar is so high that it feels like a slip up is like a total failure. You completely fell off the rails because you are a perfectionist. And I totally get that. I work with a lot of type A clients who are high achievers. They're so used to being good at everything. And when they first start out, sometimes it feels uncomfortable because they're not the best, right? Like whenever you start something new, you have to start as a beginner. And oftentimes it can feel scary, it can feel vulnerable, it can feel uncomfortable to not feel perfect in whatever you're doing, whether that's hitting your nutrition goals or doing a workout properly or not knowing how to pick up the dumbbell. Like these are all very common things, but it can also stand in the way of getting you results. So we got to let go of perfection. And something that I always tell my clients is control your controllables. It's not going to be perfect every single day, but by controlling what you can and showing up with what you've got for that day, it's always going to be better off if you do that than nothing at all. And that's another behavior pattern I see. The other one is reframe. And that's kind of goes along with the others. Like being consistent isn't perfection. You can be consistent doing the wrong program. Like you can be so consistent in eating healthy and so consistent in your workouts, but not actually be doing the right workouts for your body or be eating the right types of foods for your goals. So just because you're consistent doesn't mean that you're actually going to hit your goals. And that's why following a program can help too. But what you do most of the time is not what you do every single time, right? So there's going to be days and blips that are going to look a little different. Sometimes your consistency is going to be off. Sometimes things are going to need some massaging. But again, moving forward with the right strategy and plan is going to yield you better results than trying to be perfect all the time. So just keep in mind that consistency does not mean perfection. You have to have the right plan. And that's one of the most common things that I see in clients when they start is they've been trying to eat healthy and work out for years. They're consistent. They're hitting their steps. They're doing what they think they need to do. They're following all the rules, but yet they're still not seeing changes. And you can be consistent, but not be following the right plan. And that can really tie back into your mindset of thinking you have the answers to the test, when in reality, you've been studying the wrong sheet. So I like to use a lot of analogies because they just click for people. And sometimes people need to say things in different ways. So those are some of the behavior patterns that I see most clients doing before we start working in together. And those are also what I help them workshop so that they can finally get the results that they're looking for. Now, losing weight, shedding fat, toning, building muscle, it's not just about the transformation. Like, okay, give me the plan and I'll follow the plan and I'll get the results. It is so much more about becoming someone new. And we hear this all the time in the big world out there of identity shifts and how you see yourself and what you believe to be true about yourself. And this identity shift has to happen because the old patterns, the old beliefs, the old routine, the old standards that you have for yourself, those aren't going to hold up in court for this new version of yourself that you're trying to create. And I know for some people who are already eating healthy and already working out, they already have those practices in place. They just need the answers to the test so that they can finally see the results that they want, right? So there can be an avenue where someone is trying, but they're doing the wrong things for their goals. Therefore, they're not seeing their results. But for you to actually become the person that you want to become, you're going to have to shed a couple of layers. So think of yourself like a snake. You can't blossom into this new snake with this vibrant skin if you don't shed the old one. Or like a butterfly and a caterpillar, they go in and they transform into something else, right? If you're trying to lose weight and shed fat and transform your body into something maybe you don't even know is possible. Maybe you have this vision for yourself and you're like, I want that, but I don't know if it's possible with my genetics. I've been trying for years and I just haven't been able to do it. And I've been doing this all the time. You see how your mindset is already stuck in that trap of this isn't possible for me. When in reality, anyone can have any body they want as long as they have the right plan and they follow the plan and they keep showing up even when it gets hard. Because that identity shift, when you do start to transform and your friends have thoughts about it and your family says something when you try to choose something healthy, or when you're trying to show up to the gym and it's been a really crazy week and you're so tired and you want to blow it off, your old self has to die so that your new self can show up. And that's also something that we really focus on inside Body Transformation Blueprint, because half the time, yeah, the physical transformation is a part of it, but it's who you become in the process. And not only that, the person who maintains their progress long term, you got to behave differently. Because let's say you come in and work with me, you lose 20 pounds, you feel so good, you're so happy, you finally know what to do. But girl, you can't go back to your old patterns and your old beliefs and your old standards expecting to maintain your 20-pound weight loss. It just doesn't work that way. You have to physically elevate to a new page in the book, to a new vibration, to a new level. You are up leveling when you transform yourself. So internally, all of that mindset stuff has to come with it. And one of the things I see a lot is trusting yourself. Because oftentimes when you're working on your own, or even if you're working inside of a cheat program that nobody's even holding you accountable, you know yourself, you'll blow off workouts. You'll say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it next week. And then it never happens. Or you hit a new weight loss low and you're like, well, I deserve this wine and popcorn because I lost a pound this week. But then the wine and popcorn completely override the pound that you lost, right? So you have to learn to start following through and doing the things that you say you're going to do, and trust yourself to actually do that. Yeah, the self-sabotage is real. And one thing that I see too is it is hard to do on your own. Like, people think that they can be the most dedicated, most disciplined person in the world. They check their boxes, they do their dilly-dally. But you know good and well there are days where you're like, I don't feel like it, I'm just going to lay on the couch. Or it was busy, I'll do it tomorrow, and then it never happens. Transforming your body is an act of practice of trusting yourself. And although I'm not a parent right now, I oftentimes think of parents and like, you got to trust yourself. Like, if you're a mom, trust your instincts, right? Trust your intuition. But when it comes to body transformation, we're all about giving ourselves excuses, right? Unless you have a coach that's holding you accountable. And one of the factors that ties into this is I often find that clients who, before they start working with me, they find it harder to show up because what they're doing isn't working. So it becomes demotivating for them to show up because they're like, well, why go to the gym? It's not doing anything anyways. I might as well just skip this workout because I've been doing this for months and I haven't seen any progress. And so when you're following something that doesn't actually work, it becomes demotivating and you don't even want to show up. So you're more likely to skip those things because it's not showing you any results, right? So a part of this is also leaning in and trusting a program and a plan and a coach that you've seen the results. Like, you can scroll through my feed and see all the social proof of all the clients that I've been able to help, and even my 40-pound weight loss. They're like, I know what I'm doing here. So if you follow my plan, don't you think it's going to work for you if you follow it, right? But you have to trust yourself that, like, hey, if I do this with Perry, I'm going to actually show up because this is important to me, and I'm going to trust myself to follow through. And also, she's holding me accountable. So I can't weasel my way out of this. And one of my coaches always says, when you pay attention. And that's what's wrong with all the freebies out there, like AI, Google, freebies, YouTube. Cool. We don't have an information problem. The whole internet and social media gives you all the information you need. You can Google or AI or YouTube anything you want. We don't have an information problem. You can get that, okay? We have an accountability problem. We have a structure problem. We have an identity problem. We have people who aren't fully showing up for themselves because they either don't have a plan that works or they're just like not showing up because they don't have accountability. And when you pay for a program and you invest in a program and it's important to you, you find solutions, not excuses. And when you pay attention, is what he always says. And I totally believe that. Like, the belief in yourself that A, you're worth it, B, this is something you want, and C, you're ready and willing to do the work. Like, those three things, when you pair that with the right strategy, the right support, and the right accountability, plus really good community of like-minded women who are also working towards the same goal, like, don't you think that's going to be a really good container for you to succeed? Like, yeah, the answer is yes. Okay, that's the answer to the test. But you have to start holding yourself to a higher standard and following through and doing the things that you said you would do. And that's what I'm here for. And that's also why we do weekly check-ins, because I'm checking up on your stuff. I'm looking to see if you hit your nutrition goals. I'm looking to see if you did your workouts. And if you did not do your training sessions, I'm going to ask why. And I'm going to say, is this important to you? And if we do ever have a consultation together, I do a pretty rigorous interview process because I want to know that you're game to do this. I can't want your goals for you. You have to want your goals more than I want your goals. This is you. This is you. I'm here to guide you and support you and hold you accountable, but you got to want this. So that's another big identity and mindset shift that has to happen in order for this to work. The other thing is fears running the show. So this is another mindset category that can block a lot of people from making progress, but more so on their own, because when you're in a container with me inside a body transformation blueprint, we workshop through all of these mindset things that come up on a daily and weekly basis, okay? If fear is running the show, you might have a fear of letting others down. The pressure can feel heavier to let someone else down than you. And I would say sometimes that's a good thing inside of a program, because if you don't want to let me down, you're going to show up. If you know I'm watching, the teacher's watching, you're probably going to behave a little bit better, right? Cool. That's the whole point of coaching, is for it to work, right? You have that accountability and support. But sometimes people can self-sabotage themselves because they're so afraid of what other people think, or they're so afraid of letting themselves down or others down, that they don't actually move forward. And we've all heard this, maybe you've heard this, where not taking action is an action in itself. You choosing to stay stuck and miserable in your situation is a choice that you're making. That's probably not serving you. Like I always say, we have one life to live. Don't you want to live such like a healthy, happy life where you feel so confident and energized and freaking on fire and you can put on one outfit and you feel so good? Like I want that. I did want that. Hence why I lost 40 pounds naturally. And now I'm competing in my first bodybuilding competition on Saturday. Like I want that for myself. So don't you too? And so if we're constantly stuck in this state of inaction and we're not taking action and we're just brewing in this state of like, well, I don't want to look stupid or I don't want to sign up for something and fail. It's like, well, what's the worst that can happen? Your coach picks you up and gives you a pep talk and you get moving, or you fail one week and you didn't do so great, but then you hop back on the next week. Like, wouldn't you rather take action forward towards your weight loss, fat loss, and toning goals than doing nothing at all because you're afraid? Right? Like, at what point are we letting fear run our lives? Right? Like, coaching is about asking questions, being vulnerable, potentially looking stupid, like being a beginner, starting something new, not knowing what you're doing, being a small fish in a big pond, like learning the ropes. Like, it's all a part of the transformation. And so again, people think they're coming to me for the physical transformation, but we're actually working hardcore on your identity too and your belief system. The other fear is fear of eating more food. This is really, really common for women, especially as it relates to calories and carbs. And it's so interesting because I'm actually eating 360 grams of carbs today leading up to my bodybuilding show. And I know that that would just make some women gawk. Like, what? How is she eating so many carbs? I'm like eliminating them over here trying to eat 50, whereas I'm eating 360 today. Like, that's wild. But carbs and calories are our friend. And so many women get stuck in the fear of eating more food and they're actually sabotaging their results, because if you're trying to lose weight, shed fat, build muscle, boost your metabolism, you need food for that. You need calories, you need carbs, well beyond just protein, okay? And we don't need to be drinking our protein in seltzer waters, okay? We need to be eating real food here. But that fear of eating more food is probably keeping you stuck. And I know good and well as a female, it can be very, very overwhelming and like kind of frightening to increase food on your own. That's why I'm here. So in Body Transformation Blueprint, we go through a metabolic reset phase where we actually repair and boost your metabolism ahead of fat loss so that your body can actually be responsive and you can lose weight like clockwork. Without that metabolic reset, without eating more food, you're never going to be able to lose weight and shed fat because your body thinks it's in starvation mode. And if you aren't able to eat more food, carbs included, you're never going to be able to grow muscle. And if you can't grow muscle, you're not going to be shedding fat either. So that's something that we help you with inside of Body Transformation Blueprint, especially as it relates to the fear of eating more food, is educating you on how it works scientifically, being non-emotional towards your body, right? Like, we got to take a look at science and what's actually happening. We do a lot of education in that category. And then we do what we need to do to repair and boost your metabolism. The other fear is overwhelming. Like, you might go quiet or like white knuckle instead of asking for help. You're like over on the sideline, being nervous Nelly about something. But coming back into the container, getting help from me, getting help from the other community of women who are also working towards the same goals as you, that is priceless. Because when you're on an island by yourself and you don't have the support you need, it is so hard to reach your weight loss, fat loss, and toning goals. Like, body transformation is already tough enough, especially when you don't know exactly what to do. But leaning into a coaching container where you have that support, you're getting education, you're getting instant feedback on what you should do or how you should approach something, that's always going to yield you better results. The other thing is naming the fear. Like, oftentimes we don't even know what we're afraid of. It's like, well, what are we afraid of? Let's talk it out. And that's something that I do a lot on consultations. So we actually map out, like, what is the worst case scenario for you? What is the best case scenario? How can we lean in the fear and jump anyway? And that's a really powerful action to take, especially when you're embarking on a transformation journey, regardless of how much weight you want to lose or what kind of toning and definition you want to create. The other mindset hurdle that we workshop through inside of Body Transformation Blueprint is trusting the process when it's not linear. So a lot of people have a lot of scale anxiety, okay? And I'm talking about when you don't see the scale go down every single week, you start to freak out and worry that something's wrong. You have to change something. Why isn't the scale going down? I was losing weight one week and now I'm stuck and I don't understand. I'm moving more. I'm eating less. Oh my God, I went out to eat and now the scale is up 3 pounds and you think everything's screwed, right? Like, scale anxiety is such a true, real thing. But also, I was on a call with my clients earlier this week, and we got into talking about the scale and how much they have desensitized to it. They understand it. They know what's going on in their bodies. They totally understand the scale. They're not afraid of it anymore because they have the education around it. And the scale just measures your total weight. It's not a reflection of your body fat percentage or your salt intake or your hormones and where you're at in your cycle or your stress levels or if you went out to eat or if you had a food sensitivity. Like the scale measures literally everything. So that's something we workshop through too, and knowing that it's not always linear. The scale is going to go up and down like this, like a stock market or like a heartbeat monitor. You got to let yourself be a human, okay? But if you're not following a professional plan, I could see how it's creating some anxiety because you're not confident in what you're doing. You're guessing, you're wishing, you're waiting, you're hoping, and then you freak out when it doesn't go the way you want to, right? So the scale can be a scary place if you don't understand it and you also aren't following a professional plan. Like, yeah, then it might be scary. But that's why when the women come in to work with me at Body Transformation Blueprint, all of that goes away because you learn more about your body and you learn more about what goes into it. Another thing is travel trips and busy weeks. So travel trips and busy weeks, that can throw everything off, right? So that's definitely not linear. You're going to have some weeks that are going to look better than others. You're going to have some weeks that are crazy. That's not going to be linear, okay? And what a coach does in those scenarios, it's like, we're going to keep you on track, okay? My job is to keep you on track so you continue to show up and you can hit your goals. Every single week is not going to be a win. But just like in entrepreneurship, in your marriage, in your family life, in driving in traffic, it's not always going to be a win, okay? Some days are going to be like that. But as long as we're moving forward and following the professional plan that is built around strategy and is customized to you, you will continue to make progress, even if 1 week was crazy or you got sick. And that is when we talk about linear progress. And it's not going to be linear all the time. The other is radical self-love and nervous system regulation. So this is another one that can kind of like slide under the rug and people think it's like not as important. But stress reduction, nervous system regulation, all of that is so crucial to your success when you are transforming. Because if you don't tackle that, it's always going to rear its head somewhere. Whether you transform or not, that is something that you absolutely have to consider. And it's something that we work on as well, because how you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself, the standards that you have for yourself, and also how you manage stress is going to impact how you behave in the kitchen or if you get your workout in. And I tell my clients all the time, like your lift session, your workout, your walk in nature, that's the nervous system regulation cycle. It is closing the stress cycle loop. It is a good thing for you. And it doesn't mean we have to work out every day. In fact, I advise against that. But all of my clients are doing some kind of like walk every day at least, okay? So closing that stress cycle is really important because it does impact weight loss. And I know there's a lot of stuff going around about cortisol belly and stress belly. It's a lot of marketing, okay? We can tackle that, and that is something that we work on. The last thing in this category is comparison. So you might look at your friend's plate, your family's plate, and you're trying to match their energy and see what they're eating. Stay in your lane. And especially if you're in my program, you're going to stay in your lane because you're going to know that the program you're following works. But this is that comparison trap of looking what other people are doing or what their timeline is or how many calories they're eating. We don't care what calories Lucy's eating, okay? We care about what's going on with your body and where we're at in your phase. Like what does the timeline look like for you? Focus on yourself. And this is just like in life too. Like we can't be comparing ourselves to everyone else. We've got to stick with what we know to be good for ourselves, especially when you're following a professional plan that I put together for you. The last thing is digging into your why. So this is really important when it comes to body transformation, and it's something I highlighted in the beginning. Using food as a coping mechanism or as a stress or emotion reliever, if that's not addressed, that's going to rear its head later, okay? So digging into your why, it's like, okay, well, if you're using food as a stress reliever, that's going to obviously show up in your life. But real transformation, you have to get to know what your actual intention is and what your why is beyond just the number, beyond the treats in the pantry, beyond how you act in the kitchen after a long day, beyond what you feel like doing after a busy work week and you have to go to the gym at 7 p.m. on a Friday and you don't want to go. Like that's when you're going to be tapping into your why and your intention, your driver. And for so many parents, a lot of the times it's for their kids. They want to show up as their happiest, most energized self for their kids. They want to set a better example. Sometimes it's about mom feeling more like herself again after dedicating her body to giving birth and having a baby. She wants to feel hot and healthy and strong again. She wants to feel more like herself. Sometimes it's just about showing up for yourself because you have higher standards for yourself. And you're not going to let yourself slide back into the old beliefs and the patterns that you used to do because you've up-leveled your life. And that's something that goes into this transformation too, because again, that deep work where a lot of people mistake like, oh, it's just weight loss, or oh, it's just some fat loss, or oh, I just want to drop a pound or drop a pant size. That's not the case. Like there's a reason why you're being drawn to that body or to that feeling or to that state. And you got to tap into that when life gets hard. And that's what I'm here to remind you of too. It's not just the training and the food. It's like literally everything else on like, why do you really want to do this? And that's something we always dive into on video consultations because it is one of the most important things in making sure that you're going to actually stick with something when life gets hard, when you have busy weeks, when you're sick. Okay. You're going to be digging into your why. All right. So this wraps up our 4-week series. We went through all 4 pillars in Body Transformation Blueprint. We started with metabolism, went through meals and nutrition, then went into movement. Today we talked about mindset. Hello. And this is all leading up to our live event on Tuesday, which is next Tuesday. It's in like, what is that? 6 days. Tuesday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, how to lose 15 plus pounds in 90 days. It is a free live masterclass event, but it is private. So it's not going to be on IG Live. You have to register and it's literally free. Like you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And the even cooler thing is it's going to be a 90-minute session, 60 minutes for presentation. I'm going to be teaching you all the things that we do to help you lose weight, shed fat, and tone, what we do inside a Body Transformation Blueprint. And we're also going to be reserving about 20 to 30 minutes at the end for live Q&A. So literally, we're going to be on a call together on a video meeting where you can unmute and ask me anything and everything you want for 30 minutes straight. So the live Q&A is something you definitely want to be there for. And spoiler alert, I may or may not have some new client onboarding specials. So you're going to have to tune in to stick around and find out. With that, I am actually competing in my bodybuilding competition this Saturday. It's my first time. I'll be doing NPC Fit Model. So if you want to follow along, I'll be posting all of my stories, sharing all kinds of stuff on social. But I do want you to make sure you register for next Tuesday's event. It is a free live masterclass, how to lose 15 plus pounds in 90 days and or tone, tighten, and strengthen. So not just for the 15 plusers. If you want to tone and tighten, you just want to drop like a pant size or even just tighten up around the midsection, the arms, you want more toned core. This is all the stuff that I hear from women, toned legs, then you should definitely show up because that is what we're going to be talking about so that you can do this as well. So with that, I will see you next Tuesday. I'll be posting in the caption below how you can RSVP. Click the link in bio and then tune in this weekend because I will be on stage competing in my first competition. So I will see you there. Thank you so much for joining and have a great night.